I've seen my wife here. I haven't seen her in, wow. We parted ways in Paris at the airport. She left home for Brazil and I went to the Institute in Texas. I think 30 days ago. It's been a month. This morning, Ram came into my room and gave me this. Supposed to be Maharaja Mario. But I think the Maharani will steal it from me as soon as I see her. It has got some earrings too, but I'm not going to wear the earrings. We have this joke at home because I joined Rotary in October 1980. Next week will be 44 years in Rotary. And I got married, in April 1981. That means that I became a Rotarian before become a married man. And my wife says, kind of jokingly, but sometimes not so jokingly, that she is the second in my life. The Rotary is first. That's not true. She'll always be the first one. And if I can sustain her, I can support her, she's going to be the only one. My father gave me a very wise advice. He says, son, never divorce, because from a known problem to an unknown problem. You never know what a second wife might look like. So I decided to stay with her, even if I'm traveling the world. She's going to meet me next Sunday in Evanston, Chicago. The quest for membership focuses on our main asset in Rotary, which is not the money. The money is good. Foundation has projects. I've visited some projects here in India. I visit projects all over the world. Like you have seen, I visit some projects in the United States a couple of weeks ago. But what matters most to Rotary are our members. You. You're the real wealth of Rotary. Because if we lose you, we lose the Rotary Foundation. We lose the projects. We lose the hospitals. We lose the mobile units. We lose the literacy programs. We lose everything. So as a president, I think I have to send a clear message to the Rotary world that we should take care of our people. I know that you can do an outstanding job at club level. I'm not concerned about that. I don't have to teach you how to engage in programs in your communities. You've known it. You've developed. You know that we have to serve above self. But my concern as president is to keep you in Rotary. Because too many are leaving. 155,000 every year. So we keep like a revolving door at these hotels. A lot of people coming in, a lot of people going out. Some people go out regardless of what we do, because somebody up there calls them. We have an aging population. The average age in Rotary is 62 years. Not here in India, but in England is 73. How can you be attractive in a club whose average age is 73? You want to engage new members in TikTok? So we have to think, just like the Patek Philippe advertising. Have you ever seen the Patek Philippe advertising? Patek Philippe is a very expensive watch, really expensive. And the advertising says, you never own a Patek Philippe. You just keep it for your next generation. It's something of a legacy. Such a precious watch. The same thing happens with Rotary. We don't own Rotary. So it's not within our right to kill our club. We don't have the right to kill it, even if we were founders of the club. We have to keep it for the next generation. We have to implement a succession plan for our clubs. Nagas mentioned some developments for the membership challenges that we have. And he kind of gave me the segue to my presentation because that's what I want to explore with you. I'm very good at pointing the problem, but I was questioned, Mario, what about the solution? You are like a doctor who comes to the patient and say, unfortunately, you have a heart disease. But you don't provide us any medication, any treatment. So I said, okay, you're right. I'm going to point the problem, especially in the US and Canada and Great Britain, where I'm still going to. But I'm going to suggest some potential treatment for this illness of falling membership, which is not the case in India. Nagesh pointed very well. The only hedge you have for the future is to do the work when you are thriving. Some regions of the world are almost beyond repair. Don't let it happen to you. We are trying some moves like the pilots in England and Australia as a desperate move to buck the falling trend of the curve. But it's always much better to establish an innovative program of growth when you are growing. Try to stop a rock running down the mountain. Really hard, right? Depending on the size of the rock, is impossible. It's unstoppable. So don't let it begin to fall. Because once it starts falling, it's really hard to interrupt the process. I'm going to ask her to teach me how to dance. Then I'll be able to. Promote new club formats is the first alternative. How many members of Rotary International belong to satellite clubs? 9,000 out of 1.2 million. Is that a success story? No. That's a total flop. I mean, we've been talking about satellite clubs for the last 7, 8, 10 years. I don't even remember when. And we still have only 9,000 members. Why? It's a flexible format. My wife chartered a satellite club because she didn't want to join my club. She said, no, no, I see you all day long, honey. I don't want to see you in my club. So she chartered a new club, satellite club. Her club has 57 members, 57 women. Can you imagine a club with 57 women? Really active. It's a new thing. She said, I don't want to join your club. I know everyone. I have been invited, but you guys do your thing. We girls do our thing, which is not necessarily what you prioritize. We have a different way to do Rotary. We love Rotary, but we don't love your club. So we have to think that there are a lot of new models of clubs out there. And Nagesh pointed out that also. If we open the possibilities of joining new club formats, maybe we're going to get youngsters. They cannot dedicate 3 hours in a week for a lunch meeting running over town in this crazy traffic. The traffic here resembles my own town, Sao Paulo, and Mumbai, and New York, and whatever city in the world. Maybe they don't have 3 hours every Thursday lunchtime to join a club. But they love the work. They love the videos. So we have to offer them a new product. Who would think 50 years ago that we would be driving electric vehicles? That was crazy, right? But electric, never. Electric is my shaver. We are driving electric vehicles. Who would ever think that we would have smartphones and dumb people? We used to have smart people and dumb phones. Today we have smartphones and some people that are dumb. The world is changing. Dining clubs. And Nagesh mentioned, what strategies are we going to adopt with clubs that are struggling? You mentioned that 35% of your clubs in Zone 7 have less than 25 members. I remember the number because I love the numbers, just like you do. In my region, clubs with less than 20 members are 51%. What can a club do with 8 members? 8 members is a dining table. It's good for wining and dining. You do that over cricket, but rarely you can do some real stuff with 8 members. You cannot build a mobile unit. It's hard. Maybe you can. But it's really hard. You have to have a critical mass. And we're wasting opportunities because sometimes we have a club with 8, 10 members in a city with 120, 250,000 people. Only 8 belong to Rotary? I mean, can't we find another 15 people that deserve to be in a city of 200,000? It's hard to believe. We have a huge opportunity for us, ahead of us. Because we innovate. In 10 years, you're going to be a dinosaur, right? Different. Stop thinking about innovation and inducting. Keep membership as a daily routine. You are going to perish. It's simple as that. Don't think that the future is guaranteed, because the future of all of us is in a cemetery. All of us. Those are going away someday. Our only insurance is to innovate. Engage former members. I don't know about here in India, but in Brazil, people leave Rotary because they have a conflict within the club. I don't think this happens in India. Does it happen here? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. In Brazil, people leave because they're running for mayor in the club. And the other guy, the opponent, is also running for mayor. So they transform the local Rotary Club in a political party. Does it happen here in India? No. Where are those people going? I mean, do we know where they're going? Do we commend them to other clubs? Or do we just lose them? Where are these former members? Members who left because they changed town. Do we recommend them to other towns? People leave because they suffered a period of transition in their businesses, in their professions. Do we call them back? Do you have a list of people who left and why they left? Reach out to younger members. I had a meeting with my DGs elect in Spokane, Washington, state of Washington, Western USA. And one of the incoming governors, a woman with a Latino name, Menendez, she approached me and said, "President, I had to insist to join a Rotary Club here in the state of Washington. I happen to be a former scholar of the Rotary Foundation. You guys gave me a scholarship of $25,000. I studied overseas. I am grateful to Rotary, and my club doesn't invite me to speak." Are we stupid? I mean, we paid for her to transform her life for better. And then when she returns, we don't even invite her to speak about her experience. How dumb can we be? We invested money. She said, "I had to insist on my club, I want to become a Rotarian because I'm grateful to your institution. I want to become part of that movement. I want to give back as a retribution for what you have done to me." That's the spirit we're looking for. But she said, "My club, I had to show up uninvited." She showed up at her club meeting uninvited to deliver a speech that was not previewed, talking about her experience. I was fortunate to belong to a club who invited me to speak when I returned from my experience as a youth exchange student. My father was in the club. And I became a Rotarian of that club later on when my father dropped out of Rotary and I became a Rotarian in this place. We benefit 8,000 youth exchange students every single year. I want them to become Rotaractors and Rotarians. I tell them. I'm going to tell the youth meeting in whatever we're going, Nagpur. We have a youth meeting, right? I'm going to tell them want you to become Rotarians. Your life has changed because of us, and you forget about us. I want my I want my money back. And you are my money back. I told some parents in the Youth Exchange program in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 650 people, just celebrating that I was the first RI president that came from the Youth Exchange program. Did you know that? So I told them, I'm not asking you to do anything that I have not done myself. You have a commitment to Rotary. And I told their parents, I said, you have trusted us with your kids. Your most precious asset in life are your kids, your sons and daughters. You have trusted their lives in a different country, in a different culture, in a different time zone, with an unknown family for 1 year, and you don't want to join Rotary? We don't deserve your trust, your confidence. Some of them approached me and said, institution, after all, we are trusting you with my son. So why don't you join your club? Fellowships and racks, you mentioned that. We have 25 reaction groups and an endless number of fellowships. We have to get them into Rotary. They're passionate about a cause, but a cause that derives from the mothership called Rotary. The causes are good, but they are just appendixes to the mothership. So why don't they join the mothership? Why don't we invite them to be part of Rotary? We must have more than 50 or 60,000 people belonging to RAGS. And they're passionate. The Youth Exchange officers are passionate about Youth Exchange. They will never leave Rotary. They won't leave the kids. The inbounds and outbounds and rebounds. Leverage professional institutions. I was president of the Brazilian Printing Association. We had 3 Rotarians in our 27-member board, 10%. Why don't we approach the lawyers, the dentists, the engineers, the architects, the psychiatrists, the business people from all walks of life, textile, electronics, information technology, building, construction. Why don't we show them what Rotary is and what Rotary does? But do us continuously scheduled presentations. I did that in Sao Paulo as a test. The Commercial Association in Sao Paulo, whose president happens to be a Rotarian. He said, Mario, sure, talk to our constituents. 150 people in the room, only 3 were Rotarians. And those 3 never talked to the other 147 about Rotary. Never invited to join. We must do systematic work, routine work. It may be boring, but it is key, fundamental to our process. We must show ourselves to the world. I have done how many interviews here? 5 or 6. I did 2 this morning. I talk to the press because the future Rotarians are outside of Rotary. And the press is our link to the outside world. One of the links. We are going stronger starting now in social media also. Because if we reach, or if you want to reach out to younger members, that's where they connect, social media. Lions has a president this year that comes from Brazil. Their presence in social media shames the presence of Rotary in social media. And I'm talking about Lions. I'm not talking about a young institution, a new institution. They are present every single day in social media. So if we want to reach out to younger people, we have to be there. And this journalist this morning asked me for a local TV. I think she recorded our interview. He said, what do you have to offer to younger people? Because this generation, I don't know about our generation. I'm so old I can't even remember what I thought when I was 15 or 16. But the generation, they ask, what is in it for me? What do I gain? I said, Rotary is the best school of leadership I've ever been into. Because we invest money to develop you. We're investing $6.5 million on the district governors 25-26. $6.5 million US for 5 days of meetings. So we walk the talk. We put our money where our mouth is. For 500 people, you reckon $12,000 for each one. We are paying air tickets, we are paying hotels, we are paying meals, we are paying entertainment. We're paying for the content. I'm inviting people from outside of Rotary to talk to the district governors so they get information from the outside world. So this is investment. I mean, if you start walking up the Rotary ladder, you will become a leader. I guarantee. You will become a future leader, not only for Rotary, because Rotary is not selfish. We develop leaders for the world. We develop leaders for your trade associations, for your professions, for you as a person, as an individual. We don't want you to work only for Rotary. We are not selfish. We are generous. We train you to do service outside of Rotary. Oops. No? And uncharted territory. Do you have places where you should have Rotary clubs that do not exist? You have 1.4 billion people. You're the most populated country on the face of Earth. 1.4 billion. What a market for Rotary, huh? 400 or 500 million of those who were admitted into the middle class in the last 15 years. You have the numbers, don't you? Nagas just showed the GDP. When I first visited India in 2008, Brazil had twice the GDP of India. Today we have half of GDP of India. Don't you think this is an extraordinary market? My eyes pop out of my socket. This is an outstanding market. We have to think business-like. This is an outstanding market to develop Rotarians and new clubs. It's exciting. Next one. I think it's gone, right? Oops. Is it over? No more pictures? No more pictures. 9 regions are over. The last one is, I will challenge every district governor to pick their assistant district governors to commission a new club. I will do that in Orlando. This is a spoiler alert, like the younger people say. That because in the U.S., for instance, the average number of clubs per district is below 50. In India, it's 113. In Brazil, 110. But in the U.S., they think they have too much. 50 clubs. I said, I'll send you to be a district governor in India to handle 110 clubs. So we have a lot of opportunity for growth. I'll leave you with a message about leadership. 3 types of leaders. Take note. You're taking notes. First type of leaders is the ones who make it happen. Make it happen. The second type of leaders is the ones who let it happen. And the third type of leaders are the ones who are surprised by what happened. Some district governors step out of the district and don't realize what they have done. They can't remember. Those are the types of leaders who are surprised by what happened. My question is, what type of leader do you want to be? Thank you.